Okay, let's have our second review. We have a two-part review series for Mr. Tetsi. And the first one was the Bogle Vineyards Merlot, which didn't go very well for me. And then we have we have the Kendall-Jackson Chardonnay, which Mr. Tetsi said that his wife likes to drink, and I told him that I would review both of these. So I went out and bought this bottle at a local grocery store chain, and I paid $17.69 for this bottle of wine plus tax. So I paid $18.50 for this bottle of wine. It is chilled. Just opened it, and I haven't poured it yet. You can see the cork right there. So let me. I'm going to pour a glass for you. Here's your glass. You like this? Oh, look at that color. Oh, the color that I'm seeing on the screen is the color that I'm seeing in the glass. And then I'll pour a glass for me. Remember, I love everything about wine. Now, this is definitely a Chardonnay color. Chardonnays have more, they have more yellow in them than like a Pinot Grigio, but Chardonnay is a strange beast. It can be almost clear, and it can be so light and so fruity like a Pinot Grigio, or it can it can be real I call it buttery, but you can call it syrupy, or and have a lot of oak in it, and have a very darker color. And I don't know if this is oaked. I'll know in a moment. But Chardonnay, depending on where it's grown and when it's harvested. If it's harvested with low sugar content, then it's going to be a lot lighter and have more of the flavor of, like, I want to say pears, a real light, indistinguishable almost fruit flavor. And then if it's allowed to fully mature and get up to a much higher sugar content and receive some other treatments and be put into oak, then it can have a dramatically different flavor. So if you try a Chardonnay and you don't really care for it, I recommend that you try another Chardonnay, because it could be that the Chardonnay that you have is just not produced in a manner that you find to be pleasant. So try another one. There's so many different Chardonnays. And here's just an aside. How does a wine producer know when to pick their grapes? I'm going to bring this instrument in from the side. Here we go. This is a Brix meter, Brix. And if you are growing grapes, I highly recommend that you get one of these, because you can taste one grape and it might be pleasant to taste, but then you wind up making juice out of it, or making wine out of it, and you find out that you have very, very tart grapes. I always guessed at when to pick my grapes and when to pick my cherries. And I bought this little meter. I'd seen this on all sorts of different... I've seen it used in vineyards. I had seen it on different YouTube videos, and I always assumed that, this magical instrument must cost a fortune. What you do is you squeeze. Usually, you squeeze 5 or 6 grapes picked at random throughout a row. You squeeze them, and then just put a little bit of juice right here on this lens. You put the clapper down, and then you look in here, and there's a scale that'll tell you the specific gravity. It'll tell you if it's ready to be, if your grapes are ready to be picked, if your cherries are ready to be picked. That's all that I use it for, is for my cherries and for my grapes. Um, Everything else, like plums, pears. Um, I have some other fruits out there. I have other ways of telling. I bite them. Um, and the birds kind of tell me when my cherries are ready. But anyway, if the Chardonnay is harvested with a real low Brix reading or low sugar content, it's going to be a lot more dainty, I call it. And then if it's harvested with a pirate's hold worth of sugar in it, then it's going to be potentially more robust. There's one thing that wine producers may or may not do, and that is they put their wines through a second fermentation process. Some wines, whites, never. Chardonnay, sometimes. They will put it through what's called malolactic fermentation. And the malolactic fermentation is a special yeast that's added to a wine after it's been fully fermented, and after it's settled down a little bit. As a matter of fact, then you'll throw in the mallow yeast, and that will attack the malolactic acid and turn it into lactic acid. I'm not a chemist, and this isn't a chemistry class, but what it does is, to Chardonnay especially, it takes it to a totally different neighborhood by putting it through the malolactic fermentation. It gives it the real, what I call buttery, which I really don't appreciate. I don't like a real buttery Chardonnay, but that is a wildly popular flavor of Chardonnay, is the one that's been treated in oak and gone through malolactic fermentation. Reds will go through mallow also, but it doesn't have as dramatic of an impact. It rounds off the edges. Okay, so all I've done so far is just babble and look at the color. Let me just smell this stuff. I'll be darned. Okay. Wow. Does it say anything on the back? Who cares? No. It's a rich smelling Chardonnay. Definitely not unpleasant to the nose. Wow, I really cannot wait to taste it. I can't pick up. I cannot tell you if it's been through mallow, through the nose, and I can't tell you if it's been treated with oak. Frequently you can tell right away. So it hasn't been over treated with oak, if it has been at all. Let's try it. Oh. 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 Tetsi, your wife has good taste in Chardonnay. Um, okay, I can taste some oak. It's not real buttery. Um, this is this this is what I want in a Chardonnay. It's got it's got the fruity flavors. Um, it's not passive at all. It stands up on its own. It would go great with anything. Um, what a fine Chardonnay. Now it doesn't have the buttery flavor that that's associated with malolactic fermentation and frankly being over oaked. This God, it just has light oak. It has the fruity flavors. I can't pick out the difference between pineapples and mangoes and other stuff, but it does have more of the fruity flavor. Um, it is a uh, it's just an excellent wine, and I highly recommend the Kendall-Jackson Chardonnay to you. Oh, let me know. And everybody can find Kendall, or most everybody can find Kendall-Jackson Chardonnay. Let me know. Go out and try it. And if it's not to your liking, hey, that's great. That's why when you go into a wine shop or a liquor store, you'll find rows and rows and rows of Chardonnay. Um, to each their own, but this is one that I wouldn't hesitate to spend. What was it I said that I spent on this thing? I wouldn't hesitate to spend $17.70 plus tax. It's a very, very good wine. That's it. Bye.